Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. According to the latest data from the Ministry of Health, there are currently 10,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus infection in Poland. 426 people have died. Over 1,500 people have recovered from the infection. There are 313 new infections and 25 new deaths. According to Wojciech Andruszewicz, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Health, the number of those infected and those under respiration in isolation hospitals is stable, which indicates that the coronavirus epidemic in Poland is under control.
Dzisiejszego poranka bardzo ważną rzeczą jest fakt, że mamy znowu największą skalę wzrostu w przypadku wykonanych testów.
The most important thing for today is that we have the highest growth rate when it comes to the number of tests carried out for the presence of coronavirus. Today, in less than 24 hours, we carried out over 14,200 tests. We are very happy about it because, as I said earlier, we want to carry out as many tests as our laboratories possibly can, 22,000 tests. We have 87 laboratories in the country. What is important is that over 2,000 people have recovered from the infection. There are currently over 500 people and 6,500 places left in our insulate. We will increase the number of vacancies in our insulators to 15,000 if necessary. There are over 2,400 people in isolation hospitals. 143 people are under respiration and in a serious condition. I would like to emphasize that the condition of many of these people is improving. The fact that 143 people are under respiration doesn't mean that their condition is life-threatening. We're hoping for the best. The situation is constantly changing. Some people are getting better and leave hospitals. Some people go to hospital. The fact that there are constantly 143 people under respiration and hospitals have 1,500 life support machines means that only 10% of the machines are being used. This is also positive information. We can look at what's happening right now with a little optimism. As we know, some restrictions were lifted and we will be able to sum up the current situation at the beginning of next week. The Polish Constitutional Tribunal ruled on Tuesday that it is solely in the competence of the President of the Republic of Poland to appoint judges, which he does personally on the basis of the motion of the National Council of the Judiciary and without any interference from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court does not accept this ruling. The Ministry of Justice, however, believes that this outcome will end the legal dispute and the chaos over the Polish judiciary. The Constitutional Tribunal was taking on the case of a dispute over competence between the Supreme Court, the lower chamber of Parliament, the Sejm, and the President at the request of the Speaker of the Sejm, Elżbieta Witek. The spokesman for the Supreme Court questioned the ruling of the tribunal. The ruling is unacceptable. There is no legal basis to introduce such limitations on the Supreme Court, and we will stand by this position. It's as if the tribunal assumed that the Supreme Court has legislative power, which is just not true. We are certain that according to Polish law, the activities of the National Council of the Judiciary are fully in accordance with the Constitution. Thus, judges appointed by President Duda on the motion of the National Council of the Judiciary are legally chosen for their positions. This clears up the chaos regarding the Polish judiciary. In the opinion of the columnist Krzysztof Karnkowski, the ruling will not put an end to the dispute over the Supreme Court. Earlier, when only this case came to the tribunal, representatives of the EU institutions barely even acknowledged the tribunal's credibility, so we will probably continue to see this tug-of-war. Nonetheless, it's good that the tribunal gave such a ruling. It is an important step forward for judicial reform. On April 30th, the term of office of the current first president of the Supreme Court, Małgorzata Gersdorf, ends. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, a proper council, which would normally appoint the new president of the court, was not convened. President Andrzej Duda, in an interview for Gazeta Polska, stated that according to the law, it is now up to him to appoint a successor to Ms. Gersdorf, whom he will choose from among the justices of the Supreme Court. Yesterday's ruling of the Constitutional Tribunal was announced with 5 judges disagreeing with the verdict: Leon Kieres, Mariusz Buszyński, Piotr Pszczkowski, Jakub Stelina and Jarosław Wyrembak. The Biebrzę National Park is on fire. Priceless peat bogs, grasses and forests have been burning for several days now. Yesterday the situation seemed to be under control, but the fire flared up again more fiercely. Firefighters are having to operate in very difficult conditions given the swampy terrain. State foresters deployed Dromedar aircraft to cull the fire. The government has provided additional funds to fight the fire. We spoke to Captain Krzysztof Batorski about the dramatic fight against the fire on the Biebrzę. Conditions are tough. Firefighters have to walk on foot to the remote places that are on fire. Their job is to suppress the fire by using fire flappers. This is essentially a piece of steel on a stick, and you use it to put out the fire. There is a grave danger from smoke and high temperature. We have burning peat. On the surface it might look untouched, but deep inside we might have fire. This creates another danger for anybody who steps on it. He or she might fall up to 2 to 3 meters down into the fire. This is why we have firefighters working in teams to provide help to those in trouble. We also have serious losses to nature. Animals die. Firefighters saw the burned remains of young elks and deer. They also saw a bird which died because it wanted to protect its nest with its own body. The situation of animals in the park is dramatic. We don't know what the cause of the fire is. Most often, forest fires or grass fires are the result of human activities, and often they are intentional arson. The Ministry of Agriculture has extended the deadline for farmers to submit applications for subsidies in connection with the drought. Applications for additional payments to build storage reservoirs and irrigation systems will be accepted until the 20th of July this year. The threat of drought is increasing with each passing week. If there is no heavy rainfall in May, the agriculture sector is in danger of facing disaster. President Andrzej Duda appealed today for reasonable water management and conservation.
W tej chwili jest rzeczywiście sucho, jak na tą porę.
At the moment, there are in fact dry conditions. Looking at the season of the year, it is really dry. The Vistula River is at the level of 65 centimetres. It is at a low level, although it is not yet at the level of drought, but it is very low. As far as the humidity of the forest litter is concerned, the Minister of Environment just informed me it is only around 20%. In connection with that, there is no ban on forest entry yet. That ban has not yet been ordered. There are dry conditions and it is getting lower. So if the forest litter humidity level drops to 10% or less, we need to introduce that forest admission ban. It might happen soon, and if we do not have any substantial rain soon, the situation might become dangerous. And in connection with that, ladies and gentlemen, I ask first of all, we ask for rational water management. I appeal that we start rationally managing, proverbially, the watering of our front and backyards. Such an appeal was requested by the Minister of Agriculture. He said that we need to pay attention closely to our use of water resources. In general, we need to get used to frugal water management. We do not have too much water. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better and a safe tomorrow.